There's a massive amount of fire coming to Tel Aviv right now. Yaniv, get ready to pull it off the sticks. Get off the sticks. All right, let's go. Time to go. Okay. Guys, come on.
Now, like many people in Israel, our very own Trey Yingst, who was in that last video you saw, has been in and out of bomb shelters all night. He joins us now with the very latest. That was pretty harrowing for you, Trey. Glad you're okay and the crew's okay. What's the very latest?
Yeah, Sean, thank you. It's been an intense evening here in Israel. The Iranians launching around 150 ballistic missiles into this country in 3 separate waves. That video that you saw there was the first wave. The other waves caused a lot of damage to locations not only here in Tel Aviv, but also in the suburbs. We visited 3 different sites where missile impacts happened or fragments damaged or destroyed buildings. And I can tell you that it was a very sad scene to see. The first location that we got to in a very populated neighborhood of Tel Aviv, they were taking women and children out of this building. You could just see the fear in the eyes of these kids. They didn't know what was going on. They just heard the explosion as their parents were waiting with them in bomb shelters. A lot of damage there. But then we made it to a second site when we were live on Special Report talking with Brett as another missile attack took place. And when you saw the damage at this second site in the suburbs of Tel Aviv, it looks like an entire block was wiped off the map. At that location, Israeli police tell us one woman was killed and at least 20 were wounded. As we were there, rescue workers were digging through the debris, and every once in a while, they would have everyone be quiet, and they would call out, looking for survivors under the rubble. They had a thermal drone overhead to see if there were any people that were still trapped. And then that missile attack took place yet again, and we had to run for shelter going into the basement of an apartment building. And then there were explosions outside so strong they were shaking the street. This is what the Israeli people have been dealing with tonight as the Iranians are directly targeting both military and civilian facilities in this country, sending nearly the entirety of Israel into bomb shelters. And Sean, tonight we are getting reports out of Iran about explosions just east of the Iranian capital of Tehran, an indication the Israelis are once again striking back against the regime, targeting facilities just outside of the Iranian capital. Sean?
You know, Trey, one thing that Israel understood the risk. Israel also understood the risk of a nuclear-armed Iran. And I'm going to get into this in my monologue. When you think of the tens of thousands of rockets that have been fired from either Iran or from their proxies, the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas over the years, and you try to identify and relate with that, they knew this risk coming into this. They were as prepared as possible. They certainly were prepared for the onslaught and the attack. They certainly outperformed. I think you reported earlier today, the Iranians felt that they were hit 10 times harder than they ever expected. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the Iranians are certainly preparing to continue attacks against Israel because for them, this is a worst-case scenario. The Israeli strikes not only targeted their nuclear facilities, but killed their top nuclear scientists and then killed the head of the IRGC, along with his entire leadership for the Iranian Air Force. So this was not only an embarrassing attack for the regime, according to analysts in the region who have discussed what took place, but also it is a real military loss for the regime. And when we look at what's going to happen next, there's real concern that this is going to drag on for a matter of days and possibly even weeks. I've been talking with officials throughout the region today, speaking with not only Israeli intelligence and security officials, but officials in the Gulf, like the Qataris, and even the Iranians, trying to get an understanding of how everyone sees this situation. And they realize this is an unprecedented moment in the Middle East because it has an opportunity to change the reality for the region. You mentioned that Israel's been at war for more than 600 days, and we've seen the missile fire from places like Yemen with the Houthis there, from Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, and of course the groups inside Gaza like Hamas and Islamic Jihad. What we saw tonight was quite different, Sean. We saw direct missile attacks targeting major population centers. And the reality is that when these barrages come in so intense and so powerful, even with Israel's advanced missile defense systems, like the David Sling or the Arrow 2 and 3 system, with the support of the American systems that are currently on the ground, like the Patriot system and the THAAD system, it's not enough. And that's the big question moving forward as the Iranians will continue to target major population centers in Israel, is how the Israelis will be able to keep up with this incoming fire while they're still going on the offensive. As we know tonight, striking targets just outside of the Iranian capital. A lot of moving parts here, and the region is bracing for very tense days ahead. Sean?
And clearly the Israelis were preparing for that. Among the long list of targets that they have had in Iran include their long-range missile sites, which the Iranians had been building up, probably in anticipation of the nuclear sites being attacked, that then being their plan B to try and overwhelm their missile defense system. And to some extent, the Israelis have been able to buffer that by taking out a lot of those missile sites. Stay with us. We'll get back to you, Trey, throughout the program. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.